Does it say it's recording now? On your screens?
Sorry, what did you say?
I just said it. I just asked if it was recording, but
Oh, it's not or it is recording, yeah. I see that. Like,
okay.
yeah.
So I'm making, yeah, I'm gonna make two columns, two extra columns. So this is mine, and then I'm gonna say match, no match. This is just something that I found was easier to do, to check for if we have any differences. So he's coded his, and I'm gonna pull up his code. You guys should have coded the same papers this weekend. And so I just highlighted all the, like his column of codes. And then I'm gonna copy it. And paste it under his column.
I think that would copy it over, won't it?
Sorry.
Oh no, never mind.
Oh, did it do that? Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the file might not be the same size. I guess that's the reason why I didn't copy last time. Oh.
Yeah, there you go. I copied it, pasted it on his column, and then here I'm gonna write equal sign if if, if, and then you choose his column, equal sign to my column, so C2, D2, and then comma, match, comma, oh, sorry. Match, no match. So because our first one is different, it says no match. And then I can copy this code. There's like a plus sign and you just copy it all the way down. Okay. And then I'm just gonna filter it now to see the ones that did not match. So, filter. Oh no. Okay, so filter, I'm gonna click no match only, apply filter. And then you'll see the ones that you didn't match on. And then those are the ones you wanna compare with your partner. So for example, this first one, your duplicate, and I didn't write duplicate. And that's what that one for him, it's correct. It should be duplicate because I didn't look at the sheet before me. But on the paper right before this is on like me and Erica, and our last paper matches. Paper coronary artery calcium score 2017. Again, should be the same as, yeah. So I wrote, I'm changing it to duplicate. And then you go through the ones you didn't get the same one for with your partner, on like set up a meeting with them, and then yeah, make sure that all your codes are the same and you agree on the same code. And then we should, yeah, so that's pretty much it that I wanted to say. Do you guys have any questions, or Fred, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I guess maybe we should like go through a paper that we consider full review, just like a case. People
Yeah.
that they didn't find one maybe.
Let me see if I can see it. So here.
Oh, but yeah, it says no match, but we could still go through it, I guess, to explain whether it does or not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go through this one. He wrote full review for this one, but I wrote no exposure of interest.
Yeah, we could read the title. Yeah.
Read that. So it already says randomized trial, so I already am thinking like this might not, this is a randomized controlled trial. Carbohydrate quality changes, that may be an exposure of interest, that might be about glycemic index. So I'm just gonna read it over a bit.
Yeah, it's pretty short, I think.
Yeah, so this one, it is kind of confusing. It says carbohydrate quality index. I feel like we passed by this paper like last year, but I'm pretty sure. So carbohydrate quality index is not the same as glycemic index.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, so even though, like if it did say like glycemic index, let me see what kind of study this is. Yeah, so CQI does include glycemic index in it, but I remember it doesn't like give glycemic index as like one of the main exposures. Anyways,
I mean, at the bottom it says there's like trial registration, right? So does that mean
yeah,
a clinical trial?
and like something quite changes. I'm just seeing if they like, this was like a study, like a prospective study after they like
Right.
intervened.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
kind
also
of,
check because, yeah. They
Yeah, so-
said we examined, and already here you can see like it's a multi-centered randomized primary prevention trial. So that is not what we're looking at because it's an RC, it's an RCT.
yeah, I mean, like multi-center could mean like different hospitals, but the words like randomized, yeah, makes it like randomized control trial.
Randomized control trial.
Yeah.
Those are,
Yeah, which is something like we're not like, because we'll just look at perspective, just watching.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're only looking at perspective.
yeah.
And I wrote no exposure of interest because CQI is not really the exposure we're looking at. So do you agree with that, Fred?
I think so, yeah. Because yeah, CQI is like involves like other things, right?
Yeah. If it does give like glycemic index alone, like data on glycemic index alone, like maybe in the methods section, I mean, in the inclusion section, they'll be like, oh, the glycemic index is associated with cardiovascular disease risk with a risk ratio of something, then yeah, I'll put that as a.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, you gotta kind of see the paper, I think, to double check, because maybe it's in the supplemental, who knows?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it doesn't mention it here.
Yeah. Plus, another thing you can look for RCTs is that they're usually like the markers they look at are like short-term markers instead of like long-term markers. Like we're looking at like mortality and
yeah,
like coronary heart disease, like the actual event. But for them, they're looking at like risk factors. So like diastolic blood pressure, systolic blood pressure, HbA1c. That's all like things they can look at short term, and you'll see that a lot in like RCTs that they look at these, or like cholesterol or something. Yeah. So this one, me and Jack Hoon will compare, and he'll have to write down. He'll have to change his code and put down the same one as me. If I can find, yeah, this is another CQI, but I will have to talk to him about that. And then let's see if I found an action for that. I think I did before. Yeah, so this one, I think I've shown you guys this before, but again, this is a full review. The title is High Dietary Glycemic Load and Glycemic Index. Both our exposure of interest increases risk of cardiovascular disease, which is our outcome of interest. And then I'm going to read through this and let's look at method. So they did a prospective cohort. That's what we're looking at, prospective cohort studies. They're Dutch women. They're not pregnant or anything, so that's fine. And then they look at dietary glycemic index and load in relation to CVD. So you can also see like their results, like dietary GL is associated with increased risk of CVD, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, so this one is a full review because it's a prospective cohort. They look at glycemic index and load, and they're looking at DVD outcomes. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, hi. I just had a quick question. So I found like a couple of studies that they didn't explicitly mention glycemic index or glycemic load, but they mentioned like a low carbohydrate diet. Would that be like the same thing, or should I just exclude that because it's no exposure, or is that kind of exposure? I just wanted to clarify.
Low carbohydrate diet. To be safe, I think what we did last year, we did say it was a full review and then we go through it again. Usually they don't actually talk about the glycemic index, but just write them as a full review and then we're gonna go through them again.
Yeah, that's what we did last year.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Sorry, another follow-up question on that. So yeah, you mentioned that I can include the ones that talk about low carbohydrate diet, but what if there's also some that I found that talk about glycemic control, glycemic variability, and glycemic fluctuation? Should I include those as well?
I don't think so.
No. Those are, yeah, we also looked through those last year and they aren't the same as glycemic index or load, so you can exclude them as no exposure.
Yeah, like glycemic control means like something physiological, I think, which our body does, while like glycemic index and load involves like the food we're eating. So like if that makes sense. So those are very different.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Does anyone else have questions while we're here?
Yes, Teeny, I have a question.
Yeah.
There are many codes regarding RCT and case control studies, and there is one more code of less than 1 year. So in most of these studies, they are studying on the medications and their effects on the glycemia. And some are on the antihypertensive medications on glycemia. And there are some surgeries also they have studied in RCT. So do we add these codes as RCT or case control, or just we have to mention no exposure of interest?
You only have to write down no exposure of interest.
Okay.
So because we're following like the hierarchy, we are following like
only the glycemic index and load. And the okay. So these codes RCT and case control, and so I think because in most of the studies, I think we should only use no exposure of interest or abstract or reviews, because in many of the studies I have seen, meta-analysis and RCTs are there, and they have mentioned about the that it is a meta-analysis. In the beginning, they are showing it, but we have to like overlook it as it is not mentioning about the glycemic index. Is it correct?
So your question is, so if it's a meta-analysis or a review, does it mention the glycemic index or load at all?
Yes, because in the beginning, I can see there is a meta-analysis. They are explaining in the beginning that it is a meta-analysis or it is a review. But my question is that if it is not related to glycemic index or load, we cannot add this code as a meta-analysis or a review?
No exposure of interest, right? Because of the hierarchy. But you guys show us the study if you're like worried about it too, right?
Yeah, so if even if it mentions meta or review, but it doesn't have glycemic index or load in their meta or review, you still write no exposure of interest.
Okay.
You follow the hierarchy here. So
the flow chart,
this is over, no exposure of interest is over meta or review. So you would write no exposure of interest. This is because like we will like look over metas and reviews later on, like that are related to our topics. And so it doesn't make sense for us to look over metas that aren't related to our topic either.
Okay. So, but in most of the cases, I have seen that RCT is totally like related to glycemic index and load, and the effects on the glycemia they have studied in that RCT. So in that case, I can go for RCT?
you still, if it doesn't talk about glycemic index or
Mhm.
glycemic load, if it's just like hyperglycemia or glycemia, that's also not glycemic index or load. So you
Okay.
still write notes for those interest.
Okay, that's clear now. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No problem. Anything else? Any problems? It is slightly confusing when you first started, so. Okay. Anything else we should talk about?
Yeah, I think we talked about like everything that we needed, right? So I don't think
Yeah.
that's right.
So I think I want like the comparisons done soon, and then you guys can start working on the next like batch of codes, I think would be best. But yeah, make sure you set a time soon to like compare with your partner. And then also continue on coding. I don't know how long did you guys like take for the first 500?
I think I took like 2-3 hours-ish.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
We can say like by the end, maybe we'll meet again next week on May Monday, and then we can, and then hopefully you've compared the first 500 and then also maybe code another 500. What do you think, Fred?
Yeah, that's good. I think like yeah, we can meet Monday. And then,
And we can maybe pick it up a little. Or yeah, if you can code a little more, then code a little more. But if you can't, just do 500 by next week, by Monday.
And I think we have to talk to like the other people that haven't been in the meeting too. And double check
Sorry?
too. Oh, like the people that aren't in the meeting now, go to double check them too, right?
Yeah, I mean, the people that are gonna meet with me for comparisons are not here, so that's
Okay.
fine. I can just explain it to them then when I meet
Okay.
with them. And then it's Alexandra, Maria, Jessica, and Shazia. And Shazia is here, so you can like relay any information to Jessica. I had a meeting with Jessica yesterday as well, and Jessica has done metas, so should be fine. The only people are like Jasmine and Neelan that I need to check in with later. Yeah, and then you have met Mandy, so that's fine. So you can set up a meeting with her. Do you have you should have her email, or her contact is on WhatsApp as well. So text her, maybe meet on Thursday. She'll probably be done by Thursday as well. So you can meet with her on Thursday. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. So this should be